Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you're watching from. It's been what has it been? Almost a week or so since the last race, but we are back after the week apart for the Monaco Grand Prix. It is round 10, and there is a very close battle in the championship. Catastrophic leads by 8 points. Maths isn't my strongest point. From Victor. A close battle for the Drivers' Championship. It was actually quite a big gap between first. Actually, there was a big championship advantage, and that's rapidly been coming down at the moment. So, a lot to play for at the moment, especially on this track, one of the most difficult tracks on the calendar. That, of course, being Monte Carlo in Monaco. We've got 12 drivers at the moment. We haven't got the full grid. Part of me is not surprised really with this track, but there's so much to play for, and every race matters. As we see Philip Marshall out on track at the moment. Interesting track. This doesn't really hurt tyres as much as some tracks. Think USA, for example, that had a bit more tyre degradation. This track isn't as heavy on that because of the low speeds, so you're not putting as much kinetic energy through the tyres, so they're working as less. But it is the difficulty here. The difficulty here, apologies. I have to think about what I say. The difficulty of this track is obviously the tight barriers. You cannot afford to make mistakes on this track, with very obvious repercussions as to what happens if you do. And it's all about confidence at the end of the day. The drivers who are the most confident will push to the limits, will go as close to the wall as possible. Those who won't will be much more reserved, and therefore may leave some time on the table. Let's watch then Mike Oxong, the first one across the line. 18-minute session, but the lap is fairly short here, so you can get a few laps in. But you really do need to manage the traffic here. Coming through. I cannot remember half these corner names, so this is a horror. I wish I had time to remember these, but I didn't. But a 19.4 then for the first sector. They come into this tight hairpin, always in first gear. Very difficult. Well, it's possible, but if you're on a pad, it is a bit more awkward to run round. Down the tunnel then, and such a tricky braking zone because you can't see. You go downhill, and Mike Oxong there invalidates, and you saw that clip the curb there, as you can see as well. Let's go on to Philip Marshall. He was the car behind in the Haas. It's a bit squirmish coming through the full, almost flat out. Well, it is flat out now, that corner, isn't it? It's really annoying. I can't remember some of these corners. They're not coming as naturally to me. But a 1:13.8 then, first lap time on the board then for Philip Marshall. Here is interestingly on the medium tyres. There's Rusty Oil Can, 1:15.3, already a second and a half back. And Wild Dog, 1:12.9 for his first run. So some confidence there. And Philip Marshall is out of this race. And that, I don't see, he lost the car. Yes, he has. And Philip Marshall, after his first lap, out already. Fierre's a 1:13.4 for his first run on the medium tyres. Not bad. Let's watch Catastrophic, who's already lost his front wing already. And for the championship leader, and Victor actually not in this race. I've only just noticed that. Huge opportunity for Catastrophic here, and not off to a great start. Let's watch then the Red Bull Honda of Fallen Monkeys. I will eventually remember. He's third in the championship. I will remember some of these corners. Why am I... Oh, it's the first and last corner. I should know what they are, but I just my brain is not working today. Let's see where these are. I'm interested on that medium. That medium run from Fiore's was a 1:13.4, so only half a second off the times there. And as you see, all their fallen monkeys carrying a bit too much speed and hits the barrier for good measure. You don't want to be too greedy into that hairpin, and he's backed off, so that's his lap time done. Here's Luke 14 knock. Going through the casino. I'm pretty sure that's casino. I'm getting up a track map to remember the corner names, because this is really poor from me. This one carries a bit. I think Luke 14 is not on a fast lap because you saw the electrical energy. There we go. Alright, then on board with the Ferrari of Vapor. I now finally have a I have the corner names, and Gravel Trap already is disqualified. That's now what has happened there? So Gravel Trap in the McLaren will be absolutely starting plumb last. So Marshall will get one. It's already gained one place on his recovery. And again, that looked a very good through. I've not remembered these corners. What's going on? That's Razkas. I definitely remember now. We got a yellow flag, and I think that's for something. But there is Vapor then. A 1:12.4, half a second quicker on this lap. Wild Dog is back out. Presumably wants to challenge for that pole position time. Hartman across the line, goes second fastest with 1:12.8. Alpine once again. In the one sole Alpine left. Not looking too bad, it seems. Catastrophic is back out with a new wing. And let's see what the championship leader can provide. 1:12.4 to beat. Just under 11 minutes to go. 19.0, not the quickest first sector. Now comes through the hairpin. Then this is Mirabeau and Portier. Ignore the fact I have the map on. I knew that off by heart. This is the Nouvelle chicane then. Gotta be super careful on braking. Goes a little deep to try and avoid the barrier. And now through to back. This is the swimming pool. Don't take too much of that curb on the left-hand side. That's a very good middle sector by Catastrophic. The Alpine gets out of the way and through Razkas. Catastrophic hits the barrier, so couldn't turn the car in. Goes sixth fastest, so it does get a time on the board, but that's twice now the championship leader has made an error. That's cost him his front wing yet again. Wild Dog has invalidated on his second run. Down a third. That's a good lap time by Hartman. Hartman in second place. So it looks like the delta at the moment looks to be, what, half a second between soft and mediums? Potentially. Gravel Trap has just kindly commented. Do not have a clue what happened there. Gonna see a replay after, don't know if I hooked the wall or was glitching. I didn't see it, so I'm not sure, unfortunately. Wild Dogs after on a second run to try and claim that pole position, up by 3 tenths. That's a good first sector then by Wild Dog. So yellow flag briefly down in Razkas, and that was for one of the Aston Martins, I think. So that would have been, I think, Maverick. Another yellow flag, and I think that's for Catastrophic again. This already on that first sector. That's a phenomenal improvement by the Mercedes driver. Going through then into Tabac. when he hits the barrier. Thankfully not enough for it to cause any damage or terminal damage, but enough to push him off the track and invalidate his lap. So 2 invalidations there for Wild Dog. This is the thing about this track, you got to be super, what's the word? Consistent, clean, and precise. I like this track. It defines what this sport is about, and it's about precision. As Maverick is out of this race, the Aston Martin, and has that compromised. I think that might have just compromised his teammate coming through, as Mike Oxon goes fastest with 1:11.7. Super lap. And as you're seeing now, as the confidence builds up, drivers are getting quicker. Mercedes looking very good at the moment. Wild Dog just needs to hook up another good lap, and he could be right up there as well. He's fallen monkeys. Gets so close to that wall. Doesn't look like the car's going to turn in, but he just about. Fallen monkeys turned it in. Goes 5th fastest ahead of Catastrophic. That could be pivotal in that championship battle. We haven't seen Catastrophic out yet. We haven't seen a really good representative lap time at the moment. Let's watch then. Vapor. Vapor's back out on medium tyres. Very... Goes in second gear, and that gets so close to the wall. Most drivers you tend to see go in first gear, but some will go in second gear. Red Bull gets cleanly out of the way. We've got a yellow... there was a brief yellow flag, and I think that was just for Fallen Monkeys slowing down. And not the best exit through the Nouvelle chicane. Curb kind of bouncing him really out of line. You have to hesitate on the throttle. And Vapor again hits the barrier slightly. The curbs here are so dangerous. They may not damage the car, but they will throw the car well off balance and off the optimum line. So let's see what this lap time for Vapor is. It does improve to 1:11.8, and that's on medium tyres, interestingly enough. So that's not a bad lap time. Vapor might choose to forgo pole position here if it means he could start on the medium tyres. So we'll see. Right, let's see if Wild Dog can get another clean lap in. Could very well be up there with his teammate, if he does. Let's see what the first sector's looking like. He was up 3 tenths previously, there's 2 tenths up there, but there is an Alpine in the way. Tries to get out of the way, and that's the danger of this track. So much traffic can get in the way, and that can really hurt your lap here, and that will certainly have compromised Wild Dog with that. To be fair to Hartmann, I don't think there was anywhere else he could have gone, but that's not what the Belgian driver needed. As he comes through the Nouvelle chicane. We'll see what this middle sectors look like, see how much time he has lost. And he's lost a lot in that middle sector. He's down by almost just under a tenth of a second, so this isn't going to be a massive improvement. If it is, we'll see what this final sector is like. Comes through Raskas onto the pit lane and is up by 3 tenths to do a 1:12.5. So Wild Dog should have enough time to come into the pits and go for another lap. Catastrophic goes 5th fastest, 1:13.0, but well off the pace for the championship leader. So we're all going into the pits then. Fiora's having a bit of a wobble as he starts their next hot lap. As they come through Beau Rivage, and there will be Massenet before they goes through the off-camber Casino Square. Keep to the left-hand side as they approach this corner, because there's a crest there you don't want to get involved in, this tight hairpin. Be interested to see how many drivers are actually taking this in second gear, if some are going as far down into first gear. Now through the tunnel we go. Got to pick your braking points super perfectly on this, which is not easy on this downhill braking zone. That Aston Martin does read the curb a little better than the Ferrari did earlier. And that looks fairly confident. Does leave a little bit of space on the table. And I think Furious has just hit the wall again, but no damage. Just hitting the wall, but it is costing time. Luke 14 is out of the race, and that's 2 Hasses gone. Furious goes 5th fastest. That's 2 Haas cars then out of this race, and that is, where's that? That is on. That's by the swimming pool. So has Luke 14 hit the barrier and potentially damaged the suspension? We'll see. Wild Dog going for another lap maybe. He's invalidated. I don't know. This will be nip and tuck if Wild Dog will get another lap in here. 1:19.5 at the moment. Vapor is coming out then. So let's see. Let's watch Vapor then. 10th separates him in pole position. So we'll see what Vapor does here. If he remember, of course, he did his fastest lap on the medium tyres. Full Monkeys is out of the session. So 7th place, best start for the Red Bull. We've only got 6 drivers actually left in this qualifying session. Vapor then, gets a back end, steps out. That will have cost time. Does improve in the first sector, but the back end just steps out there, which is so easy to do as they come through the casino. Comes through Portier then. So middle and final sector needs a good improvement if Vapor wants to take pole position from the Mercedes. Little hesitant through the Nouvelle chicane, and gets a lot of understeer as he goes through to back, and once again the back end just steps out as he heads into the swimming pool, hits the barrier. I don't think that car looks amazingly planted, and Vapor backs out of it. I think Vapor knows as well. So Vapor front row at best. 25 seconds to go. Well, the drivers starting their final lap. Furious has not improved in the middle sector. So again, needs a good final sector here. We'll see. This will be presumably the final lap, unless Furious has got another dose of fuel on board. Furious goes 4th fastest, improves by half a second actually. So essentially could get another lap in. Checkered flag is out. So Vapor, Wild Dog, Hartman won't be getting another lap in. Catastrophic is retired from the session. Bit too early. So Mike Oxong, I think, unless Furious gets a storming lap in, has got pole position. Oxong is invalidated. And I think, yeah, Furious is out. So that, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Oxong takes pole position by just over a tenth from the Ferrari there of Vapor. But not a bad job then by Mercedes. 1 and 3 for them. Vapor separating the 2 Mercedes. Furious in 4th. From Hartman in the Salt Alpine in 5th place. Catastrophic down in 6th. The Fallen Monkeys, Luke 14, Oil Can, Marshall, Maverick and Gravel Trap completing the 12 that are in this qualifying session. So pretty close actually between the top 3. It's just over a tenth and a half separating them. But interestingly, Vapor of course will be starting on the medium tyres, whilst all of the other drivers will be starting on the soft tyres. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Vapor could benefit potentially from those medium tyres. Will go longer. It'll all be about race pace, I think, at the end of the day. We know overtaking is not easy on this track. It'll all come down to who's got the most patience, who's got the most consistency, and more importantly, who's got the confidence if they are going to make overtakes. For Catastrophic, this is a golden opportunity to extend his championship advantage over Victor, who's not in this race. All the Monkeys is also behind Catastrophic, so that's an even bigger present for the championship leader. But Mercedes at the moment looks like the top ones at the moment. But we will see how this all plays out in the race. 39 laps, I believe, of this track, if my memory is correct. It should be 39. There's 78 on a full lap, and of course we're doing 50% distance, so 39 laps that we will have of this Grand Prix in preparation for the Mexican Grand Prix in about, where are we? In about 3.5 hours time, I believe, if my maths is correct. Starts, yeah, 3.5 hours before we go to the Mexican Grand Prix. So as I mentioned, it's Mercedes 1 and 3, and Mike Oxon will lead the pack away. Let's see what tyres everyone's starting on. Of course, top 10 must start on the tyres they qualified on. That also includes Luke 14 knock, even though he retired. He had recorded the DNF. He set his best time on mediums, and therefore has to start on them. As does Rusty Orcan and Phil Marshall. They have to start on their soft tyres. As I mentioned, Vapor's on medium tyres, the rest on soft tyres, and then Maverick choosing soft tyres, Gravel Trap going for medium tyres, interesting enough. But worth pointing out Luke 14 knock, actually, because he had 4 lap old quali medium tyres, so already taken a bit of life out those medium tyres as Luke 14 will be going long in this race. Mike Oxon going for a fairly fast out lap, to be honest. Just wants to get this race underway. But may want to start backing the pack up here, because you can see on the map tracker, they're all separate. They're all spread apart. What you don't want to do is be sitting on the grid for longer than you need to be. And he hasn't really backed the pack up, and he won't have the opportunity to do so now. So there might be some very cold tyres, or at least cooler tyres than the rest of the field. Just to give emphasis, I think the Red Bulls had a moment as well. Who is that? That's Fallen Monkeys. Dropped right to the back of the field. Starts 7th. Now, I'm not sure what's happened there, but they are all lining up then for the start of this race. 227 metres down into Sandoval. No heroics will be told to them. Right then, here we go. We have 5 lights in Monaco. It's lights out, and we are underway for this race. A great start by Oxong then. Completely leaves Vapor out to dry. Furious is challenging Wild Dog. Wild Dog defends, and there's the spinner, and that is Hartman. And we've already had a massive... I think actually most of them come fairly for unscathed, but Hartman already having a tap. I don't know what happened there, but Oxong leads this race from Vapor, from Wild Dog, Fures, and then Fallen Monkeys having a great start, up 2 places after Hartman's crash, and also ahead of the championship leader. Rusty Orcan up in 7th, ahead of Hartman. Hartman already down in 8th place after that spin. Luck 14, 9th. Philip Marshall 10th. Maverick 11th, and then Gravel Trap in 12th. And Wild Dog has somehow already got a 3-second time penalty, and we're not even completed a full lap yet. So we did see him run across the pit lane into turn 1 after trying to defend from Fures. But it's Mike Oxon who leads, being chased down by Vapor, and already, and well, I was going to mention, it's going from bad to worse for Fures. Fures gets ahead of Wild Dog. Wild Dog up in and Sorry, I just... So much is going on. I think Wild Dog's just lost his front wing. Someone lost their front wing. Yeah, Wild Dog's lost his front wing. Just completely separated. Catastrophic pits already. So presumed damage. Maverick pits. Luck 14 pits. It's chaos already. But Mike Oxong leads this race then from Sir Vapor. Wild Dog already out of this race. And Wild Dog, that is coming into the casino square. So he didn't pit and has dumped it in the barrier. And Mercedes, who had such a good... looked good at the start, first and third. One car left to go then. And Sir Vapor is chasing down the Mercedes of Mike Oxong here. And I wonder if these medium tyres are working a bit better than the soft tyres. We'll have to see. Or whether it's Vapor who just has much better race pace at the moment. But this is... already, we're 2 laps in. 1 out of the 12 drivers gone. We're down to 11. All drivers, of course, if they finish, will score points. But the big if is if they do finish. But we're on lap 3. Vapor does set the fastest lap of this race. We do have DRS enabled. I'll be honest, with such a short pit straight, this won't have much of an effect here. But Vapor pushing that Mercedes along. Coming through Casino. And this already put questions in Mike Oxong's mind as to what does the Mercedes driver do? Because at the moment it looks like Vapor has the pace. And Vapor is getting so close to the rear under tray of that Mercedes. Oh, and Vapor hits the wall. Has he got damage? Doesn't look like it. Cuts the Nouvelle chicane. That will be a warning, surely. But that's such a huge momentum kill. He's definitely cut the swimming pool chicane and has hit the barrier again. And this time he has got damage. There goes the end plate of the Ferrari. And that will surely be a pit stop as well. And Sir Vapor, who looked like they had the pace, now drops right back down, pits as well. So Furious will now take second place. And Mike Oxong can breathe a sigh of relief. As at one moment he was being chased down. Now all of a sudden a 3-second gap has opened up. And now we've lost the Maverick as well. The Aston Martin is out, and that is at Portier, just before the tunnel. We'll see what's happened there. We've got double wave yellows in Sector 2. No safety car or virtual safety car yet. Catastrophic now sets the fastest lap of the race. There is Maverick. It's an odd place to lose it, I'll be honest. Especially in that angle as well. So I'll be interested to see what happened there. But Hartmann has now pitted for a new front wing, presumably. And on go the medium tyres in 10th place. 4 laps down, got 2 drivers out already. Welcome to Monaco. Vapor has come out in 7th place behind Gravel Trap. This might be the first overtake we see. And down the inside goes Vapor, but overshoots it and has to allow Gravel Trap through. And that's very sensible there by Vapor. Vapor knew that had braked a little too deep. Avoids a penalty, and now we'll have to try again. This is where you get punished for your mistakes here by dropping this far down the field. Here we go again. So this is Vapor going to try and go around the outside into Sandoval. Didn't really need to fight that one too hard. Gravel Trap, I think, knew what was coming and backs out of that one. So Vapor up into 6th place. Next target will be Phil Marshall. But that's 6 seconds down the road. And Fura is now beginning to rapidly close in on Oxong here. That gap we saw was 3 seconds. 2 seconds have been taken out of the race leader. I always like to check if when a gap like that comes down massively, is there damage anywhere? It can be seen. Doesn't look like it. Fura is now beginning to unleash the true pace within that Aston Martin. Oksong will find himself back on the ropes, potentially. It's actually the closest battle on the track. You can see the gaps, the intervals between all of them. Hartmann's getting closer to Luck 14 in the Haas. Haas are actually having a pretty good run at the moment. Remember, they both crashed out in qualifying. Phil Marshall in 5th place. Luck 14 in 9th at the moment, so could be a good night for Haas at the moment, as it could be for Ferrari actually, if Ferrari haven't scored points. And that is a big, big retirement, because that is the championship leader, Catastrophic, out of the race, and that is in Saint-Devant. Now this was an opportunity, and that was a hefty whack, to be honest. Went straight into the barrier, but Catastrophic had an opportunity today to extend their championship lead with the absence of Victor of this track. And I'll be honest, I think Catastrophic, that's a clumsy error. And those are errors you don't want to be making in such a tight championship battle. So all of this actually benefits Fallen Monkeys. Fallen Monkeys in 3rd place on the track, and also 3rd in the championship. That could plays right into the Red Bull's hands to bring them into play for the championship. Fures then hunting down the Mercedes, and Vapor has got ahead of Phil Marshall. That seemed from there fairly straightforward. Of course, Vapor on soft tyres, so presumably Vapor will have to pit again. Don't think those, what lap are those? 3-lap old tyres, and I think Luck has had a moment, and that's in Saint-Devant. And off comes the left end plate of the Haas and back into the pits. As I was saying, it was a good week. It could be a good weekend for Haas. Commentator's curse kicks in. Fures then continuing to pressurise the Mercedes. Poor Mike Oksong just wants a clean race at the moment. Nice, clean, boring race, and Oksong is being attacked on all fronts at the moment. And into the pits then comes Fures. Now, is this front wing damage or is this strategy? And this doesn't look like a front wing change. Oh, yes it is. Apologies. So Fures somewhere has also hit the barrier. And once again, just like Vapor, Fures, who had significantly good pace, makes one little error, and from 2nd will drop now down to 6th place. There went Philip Marshall, and you'll see here all the drivers that don't make errors here are going to reap the rewards of this. Fallen Monkeys will absolutely love this, up to 2nd now. So Vapor's actually back up in 4th as well after that. After hit the front wing damage, and there is Rusty Oil Can. He's already passed one McLaren. We'll need to get past the 2nd one. Look, 14 gets a 3-second time penalty. Vapor's also got one of those as well. Now Mike Oksong has a 5.6 second gap, so Mike can continue to relax and breathe as easy as you can do on this track. As Vapor gets a very easy pass there on Oil Can. That looked, I don't think that was an overtake. I think that was a mugging, personally. And Fures, I think, has hit the barrier. Has Fures hit the barrier again? Or was that just a failed overtake? I think that might have been a failed overtake, potentially. Because there's no damage on there, and that was in the Nouvelle chicane, so I wonder if Fures has overcooked it. Or was it Philip Marshall who's just hit the barrier? In comes the Haas driver. That looks like a front wing change, so you know what? Commentator's curse does exist. I apologise to the Haas team. I said they would do well, and within seconds it's gone horribly wrong, hasn't it? So we're on lap 10. I think Mike Oksong has just lapped then the Haas of Luck 14, although I think the Haas driver wants to like to unlap themselves. Fallen Monkeys is now beginning to catch Oksong. Catastrophic leaves the session. What a shame for the Alfa Romeo driver. An opportunity to extend the championship, and there is Luck 14 trying to unlap themselves. I thought that was going straight into the barrier there, but Luck having a bit more enough speed to keep that afloat. .5 seconds. Not really any close fight at the moment, although Vapor's interestingly just on the fastest final sector. Trying to close back in. It's actually closing in quite well as Vapor. Vapor's got nice clean air to now try and chase after the top two. And they're all beginning to close back in on Oxlong here at the moment. Where's best to focus on, do we think? There isn't really anywhere to focus on, is there? The gaps are not large. Vapor is closing in on Fallen Monkeys. Fallen Monkeys is slowly closing in on Oxlong as well. That gap is massively coming down. And I wonder if Oxlong potentially might be losing time because of the back marker here. It is mirrors. If it isn't battles for position that Oxlong is going to watch the mirrors for, it's definitely back markers. Thankfully, ghosting exists. Luck 14 again is able to break very deep into the into Razcast there, and there goes Luck 14, not trying to, assumably trying to unlap themselves, but in doing so, Luck has just got himself into more trouble, as off comes a piece of his front wing and another one. Luck 14 trying to unlap themselves is kind of harmed his race a bit more, albeit Luck is down in last place. And Vapor's really closing in now on Fallen Monkeys. So Vapor showing really strong pace at the moment. We've got a yellow flag. That is for Luck 14. Or was it? No, it was. Yes, it was. And the full front wing has come off now. So Luck is a long way from home. Phil Marshall has also pitted. So Haas are really in the danger zone at the moment. That's a real shame for them. I did say they were looking good. And it ends pretty horribly here. Finally now we have a battle. Vapor closing in on the Red Bull. And that looked very straightforward. And once again, Fallen Monkey's not putting up much of a fight there. Just had really horrid traction as the Red Bull exited Razcast, presumably. And Vapor, all of a sudden, from being a pit stop down, is almost back. Yeah, almost. Yeah, has caught back up to the race lead. So when did Vapor pit? Pitted on lap 3, I think. Lap 3 or lap. It would have been lap 4. Because, of course, Vapor hit the barrier, lost his front wing, pitted, had to get through a bit of traffic, and from there, has just got right back on the leader. So, Mike Oxlong would have been thinking the Mercedes driver would not have been seeing a Ferrari behind him, and all of a sudden, that Ferrari is back on his tail again. And the Ferrari now is really pestering this Mercedes. Mercedes really struggling. Is there damage? Or is there something? But Vapor doesn't have a great exit through Razcast. And Oxlong can breathe a little bit more. The Ferrari looks very, very unstable in the rear, but has got so much grip in comparison. I don't think it matters. Rusty Oil Can makes a pit stop. And for the first time, we see a pit stop that doesn't require a front wing change. So, Oil Can pits then. So this is completely strategic. And we'll go on to the medium tyres for the remainder of this race. Vapor has an opportunity here to try and to attack the lead. Also pitting then was Gravel Trap and the sister McLaren. And Vapor thought about it, but I think realised very smartly then that gap would have closed through the tunnel and backs off. Vapor, I think, knows pace-wise the Ferrari has the edge over the Mercedes at the moment. And, oh no, Vapor loses the car. Where's Fallen Monkeys? Can Fallen Monkeys capitalise? Not so much. But the rear instability of that Ferrari herding there, especially in the turbulent air. Now in comes Fallen Monkeys then. On go to medium tyres. This is purely strategic then. So this is an undercut attempt then on the top two. And Fallen Monkeys could really be reaping the rewards at the moment. There goes Fures. I wonder if Fures will go to the end of the race. So what does Vapor and Oxong do? Do they respond to that? Do they try and keep going longer? I mean, there's much tyre left. Or if Vapor will try the undercut as well. I think Vapor, what Vapor might do here, Vapor might try and do the opposite of whatever Ox does. As into the barrier, in Raskas goes Luck 14 again. And Haas are going to lose all their budget and lose all their finances in front wings at this race. Oxong then, under pressure one more time. What do these two do? They pit, they stay out. We'll see. Oxong pits, Vapor stays out. Now this will be interesting as the Mercedes parks up here. Where is, there's the Red Bull just coming through the swimming pool section. And slowly coming through the pits comes the Mercedes. I think the Mercedes of Oxong will be more than comfortably ahead. Monkeys just coming through the pit lane. And yeah, I thought there was an undercut attempt there potentially. Doesn't look like it. So I wonder then if perhaps the overcut is the way to go here. And if so, what does that mean for Vapor then? So Vapor's surely pitting this lap. But I think Vapor there would have done the opposite. So if, say for instance, suppose there if Oxong didn't pit and stayed out, I think Vapor would have pitted to try the undercut as well. Because you've got to do something different. You can't really overtake on this track. So you've got to bring it down to strategy more or less. So Fures, 3-second time penalty. I imagine Vapor will pit here. And does so. Into the pits then. Comes the Ferrari. We'll be waiting for the Ferrari pit crew. All in red. On go the medium compound tyres. And away goes the scarlet red Ferrari. And there is the Mercedes of Fures just coming through Raskas. Just coming down the final corner, I think. This will be very close between them. Vapor's coming through. There is the Mercedes of Oxong. Is that enough? It isn't. And Mike, just by the skin of his teeth, keeps that Ferrari behind. I tell you what, any minute, if that was very, very close. And Vapor, once again, now has to find a way through this Mercedes. They won't pit again, surely, unless they get damage. But that's the end of their mandatory pit stops, presumably. So Vapor needs to force Oxong into an error or overtake on track, and Vapor's getting very close to the back of this Mercedes. And gets close, doesn't, but can't get close enough to launch an overtake. This will now be 23 laps worth of pure concentration. You need so much consistency here. Vapor will have to bear in mind the turbulent air coming from the back of that Mercedes as well. That will really cause the car to have imbalances in terms of downforce. You can see as well Vapor has burnt a lot of his energy recovery system, the 160 horsepower already. He's got more to utilise. Fallen Monkeys has really dropped off this battle between the pair of them. still holds on to that third place. Hartmann's up in a fourth, worth mentioning as well. Fures, worth mentioning Fures as well, because I didn't mention, apologies. Fures did pit for hard tyres, hence why no longer in the race. And Vapor once again gets close, but can't find a way past that silver arrow. We saw Hartmann getting a free second time penalty as well. And the Ferrari is just pushing this Mercedes along. Looks much more confident on the brakes. Just brakes so much later and gets so close to the back of the Mercedes. DRS is absolutely useless down this back straight. Bring you close, but when you come through these next few corners, you'll be wishing it didn't. And that's a much better exit for Vapor, but Vapor knew that space was going to go. Lifts off. This is really sensible and smart driving by Vapor here. You always want to try and take the lead of the race, but you've got to be super smart, and Vapor's thinking the long term here. Oksong is doing such a good job of defending this lead, putting the car in all the right places. And we're only just halfway through this race as well. Vapor will continue to get close, but sooner or later, Vapors will either have to make a move or back off because of the tyres. No more pit stops to utilise. Both used their mandatory pit stops. They won't need to pit again. Unless Vapor wants to try something crazy. And pit and try and do what he's already done and catch back up to Oksong. Remember, of course, if you've only just joined, by the way, Vapor started second, was right on the back of Oksong until he damaged his front wing, pitted for a new one, and not too far later has caught right back up to Oksong. So solid pace by Vapor. And Rusty Orkan's back in the pits. New front wing for the McLaren. And away goes Oil Can. Will come out, I think. Will come back out in 6th place. Vapor not as close. Oh, well, I was going to say not as close as previously, but Vapor much deeper on the brakes and almost went into the back of the Mercedes there. That would have been an interesting way to end this potentially interesting duel. Vapor will need to regroup, try and come back again. Still within DRS of Oksong, not that DRS makes any use here. And the fastest final sector for Vapor. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. Just watching the interval gaps at the moment. That's a big gap between all of them. Next closest battle is 3 seconds between Gravel Trap and Philip Marshall. Slowly go through that hairpin. Look, 14 gets a 3-second time penalty. Down in last place and a full minute behind the remainder of the field. Already lapped as well. Vapor nowhere near an opportunity for an overtake. Now the other Haas gets a 3-second time penalty as well. They're all able to score points. The big drama that's happened earlier, the championship leader out of this race, Cruz Sandoval, and any opportunity to extend his championship lead has been extinguished. Victor has not been present in this race and might be wishing that Victor would have been, to try and take advantage of Catastrophic's error. Fallen Monkeys, however, looks like the most primed to take advantage of this. Remember, third in the Drivers' Championship. Currently third on the track as well. Oksong had a bit of a step-out moment and is about to catch some traffic in the McLaren of Gravel Trap. This could be interesting. Oksong's already had a bit of an issue with traffic already earlier in this race with Luck trying to unlap himself. And look at this. This is interesting. And this is an overtake attempt. No, it wasn't. But Oksong did have to go off the track there. You saw there. I wasn't sure if Vapor was going to go for it. Vapor did indeed try it. Michael does avoid. No overtake there. They do get out of the way of... Sorry, Gravel Trap gets out of the way. So, Gravel Trap next to be lapped, along with the two Haas cars. Vapor continues to get closer and closer, but Mike is doing a superb job of just putting the car in the right place. What does Vapor do? Fures gets a 3-second time penalty. More warning for exceeding track limits. Vapor really fighting the back end of that car. Once it gets into turbulent air, Ferrari seems to struggle. A lot of control will be needed here, and a lot of precision driving and consistency is needed. And I'll be brutally honest, I think Oksong's been the most consistent driver at the moment. No mistakes at the moment. Vapors has made an error, but super strong pace has kept him back, and there was a tap. Did Vapor damage the front wing? Doesn't look like it. Gets away with it. As I mentioned, Vapor's much more confident under braking than Oksong is, and might be a bit too confident. Going straight into the back of the Mercedes. No damage on both of them, I presume. And Vapor just needs to be there. I think Vapor just needs to force Oksong into a mistake. This is becoming a very... How long can Vapor keep up this pressure for? How long can Oksong defend for? Because you can see the Ferrari's pushing, and now into the hairpin. Vapor went for it, and that's a fair effort. Enough space was given, and now through Portiera, and that is the lead of the race change. Vapor found a way through. Not the most... Is it the cleanest way through? No, there was a bit of wheel banging. Was it a good move? Absolutely. And I think that was a really smart move there by Vapor. Choosing some of the most obscure places to overtake rather than more common ones. And Vapor takes the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix ahead of Oksong. And now it's Oksong who will need to retaliate. And Vapor already looks like he's they're heading off into the distance. And I think this is that was the that you can see, and already the gap up to 1.3 seconds. That just shows you how much Oksong was holding Vapor up there. So now that's it'll all be down to who can keep it on the track and consistently throughout the remainder of this race. 16 laps to go. This is now Gravel Trap and Phil Marshall. This is the battle for 7th and 8th place on the track. Both on hard tyres. Gravel Trap 2 lap younger tyres. You can see the other Haas behind as well. That's Luck 14, but of course Luck is a lap down. Although that's not really stopped Luck already from getting involved in this race. So how will Marshall play this one out? Oksong has caught back up to Vapor. Has Vapor made an error maybe? And suddenly Oksong really is now beginning to pressurise the Ferrari. Now we're going the other way around. Oksong then. And Vapor's right on the defensive through the casino. I tell you what, I thought Vapor originally looked like they're filing away, and now all of a sudden, maybe this fight isn't over yet between these two. We'll see what Oxong can do here. Can Oxong reclaim the lead of this race? Started on pole position. Has been leading the majority of this race. Vapor's struggling. They've had a horrid exit through the Nouvelle chicane, actually. Lost half a second. And I think Vapor has hit the wall. Because that is a lot of understeer that Vapor's just had through some of those corners. A couple of slow corners. I think it's... I'm not quite sure. Yeah, Vapor's just had a couple of horrid corners, I think, but that's allowing Oxong to come right back into this race. And look at this. This is now horrid exit for Vapor. And they're going through wheel to wheel. And they're going to go trying through the casino. And Oxong, just like that, retakes the lead of this race. So that all came down from Vapor having a very horrid exit through... what's it called? Sandoval. And Mike was right there to take advantage. So Vapor's going to try this all over again now. He did a superb job in taking the lead from Mike. Now he's going to try and do it again. And now what does Vapor do here? Once again, well, all of a sudden, Vapor's got a bigger problem to worry about. No front wing. Now that was, as they came into the Nouvelle chicane, the front wing just ripped off there. And Vapor once again loses the front wing. And now we'll absolutely have to pit at the moment. There is Fallen Monkeys trying to keep out the way. And that was Luck 14, I think, again. Trying to lap himself, and does so, actually, on this occasion. And poor Vapor, for the second time, loses the front wing. So now the question is, can Vapor, for a third time, catch right back up to the lead of this race? He's already done it once. Vapor's going to have to do it again. Fierez now up into third place. Back on the podium, albeit 15 seconds off the lead. So now Fallen Monkeys up into second place. This is looking very good for the Red Bull driver. The Red Bull has just been sort of doing its own thing. And has been basically reaping the rewards of other people's mistakes, really. We've got a yellow flag, and that is Luck 14 out of this race, and that's in the tunnel. We've got double wave yellows. And there is the stricken Haas car. Horrid weekend for Luck 14. And it's resulted in a DNF. We've lost 4 drivers so far. We lost Wild Dog right at the start of this race. He lost his front wing and retired earlier. We saw the Maverick retire. We don't actually know what happened to Maverick, but I believe he hit the wall. Catastrophic retired in Sandoval, and that's the championship leader out. And as you've seen, Luck 14 crashing in the tunnel and out of the race. And Fallen Monkeys now, after being ever so patient in third, now deciding to have a crack at the lead of this race. Mercedes against Red Bull. This could be what we might be seeing in a few hours for the Mexican Grand Prix between Hamilton and Verstappen. And lap 28, 12 laps to go. Fallen Monkeys outbrakes themselves. Keeps it on the track, but will have lost time as a result. I think what's benefiting Oxong here is just pure consistency at the moment. Oxong has been the most consistent for me. No real mistakes. It's kept the Mercedes in the lead of the race. Philip Marshall, I think, tried to have a go at there, and Vapor is out of this race. And Vapor, who on 2 occasions could have taken the lead of this race, is out in the swimming pool section. There is the Ferrari. What a shame. And joins the other 4 drivers. So that leaves 8. Phil Marshall trying to get past Gravel Trap here. So 8 drivers left then. Fallen Monkeys could be looking for the lead of this race. And with the top 2, one out of this race, the other one not in it. Fallen Monkeys has got an opportunity to score big points here. I mean, what would a race win do for Fallen Monkeys if we're looking at it like this, right? If suppose Fallen Monkeys does win this race, that's 40 points, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. That would take Fallen Monkeys up into 2nd place, just 1 point ahead of Victor, and 7 points clear of behind the championship leader. Did a yellow flag briefly. I think that was for Gravel Trap, I think. And indeed it is. Off comes the front wing and a pit stop for a front wing change. Try and saying that 9 times faster. Gravel Trap then. Pits on go mediums. As does Philip Marshall as well. As Rusty Oil can hit the wall as well. Yep, there goes the front wing for the McLaren as well. Let's keep an eye on then on this battle at the front. It is, of course, the closest battle that we have. Everybody else is within at least 14 seconds of each other. Let's see how many pit stops have been made, interestingly enough. The way I can see, yep, here we go. So actually not that many stops, to be fair. Phil Marshall's had 3. The rest, the only ones who haven't actually had a pit stop for damage at any point, or at least I don't think they have, is the top 2. So good stuff from them, and they're being rewarded for it because they're 1 and 2 at the moment. Fallen Monkeys then, just keeping the pressure on Oksong here. Oksong's been super consistent. If Oksong does take the win here, this will be well deserved in my opinion. But once again, you can see Oksong is doesn't carry a lot of speed through the tunnel. I wonder if that's because Oksong has a bit too much downforce on. And I say a bit too much. That's the wrong choice of words on this track. You need as much downforce as possible, but you don't always run maximum downforce. Some tend to run one little bit less in some cases to try and give them a bit more of a tow down the back straights. But that might just also be the slipstream effect as well. So it'll be interesting. Furious pits then. Has Furious hit the barrier? I think so. Because there's a front wing ready and waiting. And on go the soft compound tyres. I think Furious isn't... well, I was going to say Hartman might have been able to capitalise on that, but Hartman's also pitting for a new front wing as well. So Furious will reclaim 3rd place. There goes, well, the only one coming through is the Haas, but that's a lap down. So Hartman in 4th place at the moment. This is a super solid performance from these two, though. Going to flag in the final sector. I think that's more of an error, though. Fallen Monkeys not immense, having a bit of a difficulty with understeer. You saw there through the swimming pool section. Couldn't carry a lot of speed through the curb as well. But I think at the moment, Fallen Monkeys, even suppose Fallen Monkeys doesn't win this race, I think this is still a very good result for the Red Bull driver. Because second place with the top two not scoring points, they're paying Fallen Monkeys gain at the moment. We've got 7 laps to go. At the moment, Oxong, who has been leading the majority of this race, has led, I think, all but 2 laps, maybe. Oxong has done a superb job at the moment of keeping the field behind. What can Fallen Monkeys do then? Does Fallen... I wonder... Well, there's a gap now. There's a 30-second gap between the two. Does Fallen Monkeys try soft tyres, maybe? I presume maybe towards the end, depending on the gap, just to try and go for fastest lap, maybe, but Fures hunting, coming at them very quickly. There may not be a gap to go for the fastest lap, so I think Fallen Monkeys might want to monitor Fures' gap here, just to see if they want to pit for fastest lap if they can't get past the Mercedes of Oxong here. There's the fastest lap from Fures, a 1:12.7. Yeah, Fures will be closing that pit stop gap that Fallen Monkeys has very, very quickly. So Fallen Monkeys does want to go for the fastest lap. Have to be as soon as possible. Hartman now takes the fastest lap. 2 tenths quicker than Hartman. Hartman wants a podium. Got to find 17 seconds to do so. Got a yellow flag in sector 2. I think that might be for Rusty Oil Can. I think it was. And hits the barrier. No. And off comes the front wing completely again. I don't know what McLaren's bill would be for all that. Fallen Monkeys has lost ground somewhere as well whilst we've moved away. Because that 8 tenths gap has now dropped significantly down to 1.4. Mike Oxong, for the time being, can just breathe a little bit. Rusty Oil Can back into the pits. And Mike is about to catch traffic again. This will be Gravel Trap coming through. And Gravel Trap has also lost the front wing again. And hits the barrier as well. There's the McLaren driver, as Fallen Monkeys laps the McLaren. Should be noted, by the way, Philip Marshall at the moment. I'm not going to say anything. I've already cursed the Haas drivers with commentator's curse, so I'm not going to say anything more. I think at the moment, Oxong is doing more than enough to claim the lead of this, to claim the victory, sorry. Well, he already has claimed the lead of this race. But doing more than enough to potentially claim this race. 4 laps to go. The gap between the top two, 1.7 seconds. And that gap between Fallen Monkeys and Fury is closing to 22, just under 23 seconds. So Fallen Monkeys wants to go for the fastest lap. I'd say now is the time, because that gap may not be there. Give it a couple more laps, and I don't think that gap will be there. Admittedly, Fures will have a time penalty anyways, which we should probably mention. So Fures has got 6 seconds worth of time penalties, as has Phil Marshall and Gravel Trap. Hartman's got 3. I'll be honest, for a lot of drivers at the moment, I'm just looking. Don't think it's going to make much of a difference on anybody. Unless Rusty Oil Can maybe could take 4 seconds out of Phil Marshall. There's an opportunity for 5th there, so that's definitely something to play for the McLaren. Got 7 drivers left out of the 12. That's actually not too bad. We've lost 5 out of 12 drivers. That's just under 50%. It's not bad. It could have been definitely more. No safety cars or virtual safety cars either. I presume that's because it's reduced. I haven't checked, I'll be honest. But I presume that is the case. Fallen Monkeys now is beginning to once again reel in the Mercedes. Once again, cuts that gap from 1.3 now down to 1.7, sorry, down to 1.3. These last 3 laps for Oksong, Mike will be wishing they could come much quicker. Once again, Fallen Monkeys dropping back, and I wonder if Fallen Monkeys will now go for the try and pit for fastest lap here. Let's see. Nope. So Fallen Monkeys will not be getting fastest lap then. But at the moment, Mike Oksong is doing plenty of enough. We've got a yellow flag, and that is for Hartmann. Hartmann has had a spin, and I wonder if he's just hit the barrier on the right hand side as he went into the Nouvelle chicane. It's very easy just to hit that and just spin the car around. Fallen Monkeys not giving up here. 2 laps left. I think Fallen Monkeys now beginning to struggle for grip. He's picked up so much understeer. I think Fallen Monkeys here might just try and bring the car home here. Hartmann currently has the fastest lap of this race, I believe. So that will be an extra couple of points for Alpine. A bit of a bad job for Hartmann despite that lap 1 spin. Recovered back up to 5th place. Pretty solid stuff there for the Alpine. And while that's all happening, Mike Oksong begins the last lap of this race. Got just one more lap of this track to go. And it's been such a consistent drive from the Mercedes driver. He's led it for the majority of the race. Had lost 2 laps of the lead from Vapor, which he quickly took back. But Oksong has not put a foot wrong here. No mistakes. Hasn't hit the barrier. Hasn't really had to pit for any front wing damage, nor has Fallen Monkeys actually, but Mike Oksong here has been phenomenal. Was Oksong the quickest car here? No, I think Vapor had the pace. I think Fallen Monkeys has also had some pace as well, but they didn't have... Oksong did the job in qualifying. And in the race, he's put the car in the right positions and has been the most consistent. And will be rewarded as such as he rounds through Rescas for one last time. The checkered flag will come up on the right-hand side. On the final lap, it is Mike Oksong who wins the Monaco Grand Prix from Fallen Monkeys. A superb effort by both of them. Michael Fures will take 3rd place, a long way down from them for Aston Martin. Pretty chaotic race for Fures, but it was a worthwhile drive and a good podium for Aston Martin as well. Hartmann will come across the line in 4th place after spinning on lap 1. That's a solid recovery drive for the Alpine. Takes that 4th place. Phil Marshall will take 5th place, a lap down, and then comes the 2 McLarens, also a lap down. Rusty Orkin actually was able to take 5th place off Phil Marshall as well from time penalties. So a good effort from the McLaren driver despite all of those incidents. But it is Mike Oksong then, your race winner. Fallen Monkeys gets driver of the day. Solid drive by the top 2 in general, I think. So really well-deserved victory, I think. And I think Oxon could be super proud of that performance. Righty-ho then. Wait for the race results to appear. So, as I mentioned, race winner then was Mike Oxong from Fallen Monkeys. Michael Fures completing the podium places ahead of ISRL Hartman, who did take that fastest lap, as I mentioned earlier. Rusty Orkan in 5th place, Philip Marshall in 6th, ahead of Gravel Trap, the 7 finishers of this race. We lost Survapor, we lost Luck 14, we lost the championship leader Catastrophic, we lost Maverick, and we lost Wild Dog right at the start of this race. And that is it for the Monaco Grand Prix. As per usual, it was a fairly hectic race, and I think, understandably, we knew it would be. But that is the way it goes, I think. I'm just looking for where the next race is, but I can't find the calendar. I don't know why can't I find it? Where is our calendar gone? Am I just silly? I don't know. But it's definitely next week, to say the least. That's all I remember. Where has it gone? Why can't I find the calendar? Where is it? Oh, I don't know. I cannot find it at all, so I don't know where it's gone. But yeah, that is it for this race. We will be back in a week's time to somewhere unknown. But thank you again, as always, for taking the time out of your day to watch this, and we will see you next week. Take care.